Om Sarvadharmasthapakatvam Sarvadharmaswarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishna Te Namah. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, the greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. Sri Ramakrishna, from the place of his beloved disciple, devotee, Panomohan Mitra, teaching us about how God relishes the bhakti of the poor and the humble and the lowly. He said God doesn't get carried away by the splendors of the riches. No, Krishna never got carried away by splendors of Duryodhana. Rather, he preferred to be with Vidura, a humble, a pious soul. Very simple. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, but this bhakti is extremely difficult to attain. And then he sang that song of yogis practicing yoga from life, age to age, life after life. They keep on practicing, they keep on doing austerities. What is the objective? To gain that small grain of bhakti, to ignite that small spark of devotion. And once that spark gets ignited, once that grain of bhakti is attained, what happens? The Lord pulls the soul like a magnet. The Lord pulls this humble child towards it like a magnet. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, but this is the extremely difficult thing to get. In fact, people, they go after the entanglements, the temptations of woman and gold, the temptations of lust and greed. But if at all they make an effort to gain this bhakti, there is no way of stopping them from Lord attracting them towards him. The mother attracting the child towards her. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, bhakti is the most essential thing. Who can ever know God through reasoning? He says, through reasoning you can never learn God. How many are the splendors of the God? How many universes he has created? How big is the earth? How is the solar system? There is, how Lord has created all these things, getting awed by the wonders of his creation. There is no need, Sri Ramakrishna says. Just love the God who has created all this, and you will know everything. Attain that devotion, get that spark ignited, and that's it. No need to know of God's universe and the solar system and his splendors, how much he has, in his godown. No need to know. Sri Ramakrishna says, if I get drunk drinking just one bottle of wine, why should I bother? Why should I, split my head on how many liquors, how many gallons of liquor is there in the grog shop? If I am able to quench my thirst with just a glass of water, with a jar of water, why should take all the trouble to find out how much water is there on the earth? I don't need all that water at all. It may be there. What use that water on the earth is for me? For me, one glass is just sufficient. One jar is just sufficient. So, with that advice, Sri Ramakrishna has left the place and he has come to Surendra Mitra's house. Now, at Surendra's house, they are celebrating Jagadhatri Puja. So, as Sri Ramakrishna reaches there, he is welcomed by Surendra's elder brother. Now, Surendra's elder brother was a judge. And Sri Ramakrishna loved that person also. And the moment Sri Ramakrishna saw him, he had a piece of advice for this person who is placed in a very high position in the society, a judge. Now, giving advice to him, Sri Ramakrishna has given advice to all of us, for all the generations to come. Now, Sri Ramakrishna is talking to a judge. Sri Ramakrishna says, you are a judge, that is very good. But remember, everything happens through God's power. Now, Thakur's teaching to a person who is placed in such a high ranking position in society. He is a judge. And then Sri Ramakrishna teaches him. But remember, Everything happens through God's power. It is He who has given you this high position. That is how you became a judge. Never forget that. So Sri Ramakrishna's very significant advice to all those who are placed in higher and higher positions in the society. Always remember that it is through God's power that you have got that position. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, people think it is they who are great. It is not so. They are in that position, no doubt. But through God's power, through Mother's wish, they have come to that position. Otherwise, who are they? They are just simple children of the Lord. So Sri Ramakrishna says, never forget this ultimate reality. Because of whom? What is the source of you getting into that position? And for that, to put that point across, he has given a very simple and the most apt example. Sri Ramakrishna says that the water from the roof flows through a spout that is shaped in a lion's head. Now, during the olden times, there was a provision was made to take care of the rainwater which used to get accumulated on the roof of the houses. So what they used to do, they used to make a channel, lay down a pipe, and then from one corner of the house, or maybe two corners of the house, they used to create a spout. Now through that spout, the rainwater used to fall down. And to give it a very attractive kind of dimension, they used to make this spout as a head of a lion, or head of a tiger, or head of a cow. And through those mouths, the rainwater used to fall down. Now, even today, in some villages, in small towns, we see this kind of spouts being constructed in the corners of the roofs. So, Sri Ramakrishna says that people see the water flowing from the spout, which is shaped as a lion head, and they think, oh, lion's head is throwing the water down. And Sri Ramakrishna says, but think about the source from where the water has come. It is not the lion's mouth that is throwing the water. It is not that spout from where the water is coming down. Look at the source. Never forget the source. The water was originally in the cloud. Then from the cloud, it rained onto the roof of the house in the form of torrential rain. Okay, now the rainwater has got accumulated on the roof. Then through the channel, through that pipe, it flows through. And then finally through the spout, which is shaped as the mouth of a lion, it comes down. We only see, oh, water is coming from the mouth. We never ever even try to make it a point, try to think from where this water has come. The origin is there. Similarly, Sri Ramakrishna says, you are a judge, but what is the source of your becoming a judge? What is the source because of whom you are in that position? Always remember that source. That it is the God's power who has put you in that source. That will keep you humble. Now this is kind of a way of collaborating the teachings given at earlier time and now. Sri Ramakrishna had spoken about God's love for humble devotees, the pure devotion of humble devotees. This is how Sri Ramakrishna, now that was at Manomohan Mitra's place, now at Surendra's place, Sri Ramakrishna is telling how this humbleness can be created. Whosoever high you might be, always remember because of what you are in that position. That will keep you humble. That will keep your ego from getting bloated. So that was the teaching that Sri Ramakrishna had given. And then Surendra's brother, the judge, asked him, What is your opinion about all the things that these Brahmos they are doing? Now, Brahmos had started this movement of reformment also, reforming the freedom, reforms towards freedom of women, reforms towards abolition of the caste system. Then Sri Ramakrishna answered this question also about what the Brahmos were doing. Then Sri Ramakrishna answered that all these things they start happening when the spiritual yearning, develops. Then people start thinking of, okay, I will do this, I will do that. So Sri Ramakrishna's answer to the question posed by Surendra's brother. The Brahmo Samaj preaches freedom of movement, women and abolition of the caste system. What do you think about it? Sri Ramakrishna answered, men feel that way when they are just beginning to develop spiritual yearning. When the spiritual yearning gets ignited, then people start thinking, oh, I will do this, oh, I will do that. Remember, towards the end, we will come back to Sri Ramakrishna's teaching to Brahmos also on this topic. So Sri Ramakrishna says, during the initial phases of spiritual yearning, people will make a whole lot of noise. We have to do this, we have to do that. And then Sri Ramakrishna gives an example. As the storm rises, as a storm raises cloud of dust, and once that cloud of dust is raised, one cannot distinguish between different trees, the mango, the hawk plum, and the tamarind. Once that cloud of dust raises during the storm, we can't differentiate between which tree. For us, all trees are same, or for that matter, we sometimes don't even see the trees. But when the storm quells down, when the storm settles, when the storm blows over, then one sees clearly, oh, that is a mango tree, oh, this is a hawk plum tree, this is a tamarind tree. So Sri Ramakrishna says, during the initial spiritual fervor, we may not be able to distinguish anything, whether I am doing this, what I am doing this. We just get into that initial fervor. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But as the fervor subsides, as the storm is blown away, then we start seeing things in their clarity. Then we see, then one as at the first storm of divine, the passion is quelled. Then one gradually understands that God alone is the highest good, the eternal substance, and that all else is transitory. During the initial fervor, during the initial high momentum, during that initial excitement, I will do this, I will do that, I will do that. And people start jumping, doing this and that and that. But as the storm subsides, then that clarity comes. And then that ultimate realization comes that it is God only which is the reality. Everything else is transitory. Everything else is going to go. And once that realization comes, then you start taking up all these projects. Then you start doing women reforms. Then you start abolishing caste. Then there will have, because like Sri Ramakrishna said, you first get a command from the God. You first get a command from the God to teach others. You first have the God realization and then start doing things. Just don't start doing things without God realization. Till the time that storm is there, you don't know what you are doing right or what you are doing wrong. Let the storm subside. Let the storm get blown away. When that God realization happens, then you will see what is to be done. And then whatever you do, that will have some kind of effect. What is the use of merely reciting the written parts of the drum? Now, this is another example Sri Ramakrishna is giving. You see, when people play drum, there is a certain rhythmic pattern in which the drums are to be played. And all those notations are written down. First, they are written on paper. And then, observing those notations, then the drummers, they start beating the drums, syncing with the written notes. Now Sri Ramakrishna says there is no point simply reciting the written notes. You have to practice. You have to practice those written notes while playing the drums. What is the use of merely reciting the written part of the drum? It is very difficult to put them into practice on instrument. When you are actually doing it, it is extremely difficult to put those written notes into practice. When you read the written notes, oh, it is very easy. Dum, 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 you have to do, that's all. But then when you start doing it, then you realize how difficult it is. So first, understand notes. Understand how to play these written notes. There is no use simply blabbering these written notes. You have to put them to practice while playing the drums. Only then that melody comes through. What can be accomplished by a mere lecture? It is austerity that is necessary. By that alone can one comprehend. Simply don't keep on giving lectures on women reforms, on abolishing caste. First, understand. Understand the depth of it. Get to the depth of it. Realize what is the real port of that. And then start doing it. Simply, there is no point in simply giving lectures on that. And then Sri Ramakrishna asked. You asked about caste distinctions. Now, caste distinctions Sri Ramakrishna has earlier also taught us. You asked about caste distinctions. There is only one way to remove them. And that is love of God. That Sri Ramakrishna has already taught us. That all these differences between the caste, the abolition of the caste system, you can bring in reality only through the love of God. Lovers of God have no caste, Sri Ramakrishna says. Through this divine love, the untouchable becomes pure. The pariah no longer remains a pariah. That is exactly what happens through the divine love. The entire distinction between me and you just vanishes, disappears. Then there is only one caste, that of the devotee. Then Sri Ramakrishna says since the topic was about Brahmo Samaj, he said the members of Brahmo Samaj sing the name of Hari. That is very good. Through earnest prayers, one receives the grace of God and realizes Him. So keep doing it, Sri Ramakrishna says. Don't, only his request, Sri Ramakrishna's request, don't make a half-hearted effort. Do it sincerely. Do it with all sincerity, with all dedication, with all honesty, and that spark of devotion will certainly ignite. God can be realized by all paths, Sri Ramakrishna says. Whichever path you choose, path of chanting the name, path of saying neti neti, path of knowledge, whichever path you choose, the same God is invoked by different names. So Sri Ramakrishna says, whether you chant Hari, whether you chant Kali, whether you chant Rama, whether you chant Krishna, whether you chant Buddha, whether you chant Jesus, whether you chant Mary, all the chanting is going to invoke ultimately the same God. So that is Sri Ramakrishna's teaching to a person with a very high social status that day. That first of all, always remember who has put you in that position. Never get carried away by simply being, I am in that position. What is the source? That always remember. Secondly, while talking about abolishing the caste system or even a reform, women reforms, first get some kind of realization. Get the love of God. Then you can abolish all the castes. Develop that love, because lovers of God have only one caste. That is the caste of being devotees. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.